All right, are you planning a summer vacation? Well, if you are, you're not alone. Many of us are planning to pack our bags and hit the road or the airport for a little rest and relaxation. But along with your SPF and sunglasses, you'll want to pack your spidey senses because there are a whole lot of scams out there that could easily turn your dream vacation into a real headache. So joining us this morning with some timely tips to help us stay safe from fraud is Julia Lewis, the president and CBO of Better Business Bureau Atlantic. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning.
So we are getting calls in the newsroom daily of people saying they're being scammed in different ways. Is summer a particularly challenging time for scams out there?
It can be. There are lots of people who are either vacationing or trying to book a last-minute vacation. You know, the weather's going to be nice. They want to get away for the weekend. So it can definitely be a popular time for scams. Yeah.
Big time for vacation scams, particularly.
Exactly.
So let's go through some of the scams that are on your radar right now.
Right. So one of the ones that we warn people to watch out for would be vacation rental scams. So, you know, Airbnb, those types of things. So, you know, the platforms themselves, they're fine. But a lot of the times what will happen is you'll start interacting with someone who's offering their vacation home, and they will try to pull you off of that platform. And that's how they're able to scam you. So they're looking for you to make a payment outside of the platform. You make that payment, and then you realize that that vacation rental does not actually exist.
All right, so your advice here would be to stay in the platform.
Okay. Absolutely.
Why would someone try to pull you off? Better deal or?
Well, they'll usually try to offer you some kind of a discount or the ability to, you know, maybe get around booking fees or something like that. So there's usually an enticement to come out of the platform and make your payment, and then you do that. And then, of course, Airbnb and those types of booking sites, they have, you know, you have the ability to, you know, sometimes recoup funds that you may lose. But if they pull you off that platform and you're making payment outside of that, you know, you're typically going to lose that money.
Stay in the platform, right? That's a great one and super common this time of year. Okay, what else?
So again, with booking your hotels, so a lot of the times people will just go to a search engine and, you know, they'll search for hotel in this particular area for this particular time. Those first search results aren't necessarily legitimate. So you do want to make sure that if, you know, either you book through the hotel's actual website, or if you are using, you know, a third-party site, you want to do your research and make sure that that site is, you know, reputable, and that, you know, that you should be booking through that site, because, you know, scammers can, you know, they're really good at creating lookalike websites and that type of thing.
Interesting.
Right.
So make sure, again, reputable. Okay, perfect. And with the hotels too. I mean, I love it. The hotels really appreciate it when you do book with them directly.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, I would still likely recommend that you do still reach out to the hotel before you decide to, you know, leave, and that way you're sure that that booking is there with that hotel. So you don't arrive and then have nowhere to stay.
Communication is fantastic. Okay, let's move on. These are really interesting. What else have you got?
So often people are also looking for, you know, pet sitters and that type of thing. They're getting ready to head out. They need someone to either come into their home, or they're looking for a boarding service or something like that. So we just do tell people to do their research, especially if they are having someone come into their home. You know, maybe ask a friend or a family member or someone you work with for a recommendation. And make sure that you are asking that pet sitter for references. Make sure you contact them. You know, you're having someone come into your home and look after your pets and potentially your home as well. You want to make sure you do your research.
That's true. Yeah, for your pet safety and the safety of your home and its contents. Okay, this is good. What else we got?
And so we also like to warn people to be careful of hidden fees. Make sure that when you are doing your bookings, you're reading the fine print, because sometimes there will be additional charges for things like parking, or, you know, you may not have that complimentary breakfast. So it's doing your research and making sure that you understand everything that, you know, everything that you're being charged before you make a commitment.
Is there such a thing as scam fees? People putting on fees that aren't legit? Is that something people should look out for?
There can be, especially if you're booking, again, you know, with like a third-party booking agency that may not be reputable. Often they will say, you know, they'll kind of draw you in with a promise of a, I don't know, a very cheap room rate. But then when you go to pay for that room, there's $150 in additional fees that have been tacked on. So the deal really isn't as good as they've promised.
All right, we have about a minute left. Julia, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers?
I mean, as always, I would just say to, do your research, make sure that if you're using, maybe you're using a travel agent to help you book your vacation. Just make sure you're doing your research and understanding, what it is you're paying for, the area that you're going, that type of thing.
If you end up being the victim of a scam, and it's a lot of people are these days. There's scammers that just seem to be ahead of us all. Is there anything, is contacting the Better Business Bureau a step that people should take?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do have a scam tracker tool. So you can come to our website. You can both search scams. You can get information about popular scams in your particular area. And then you can also report scams. And then we can help you with the reporting aspect of that, but then also trying to seek some kind of resolution as well.
Perfect. Thanks so much for coming in, Julia.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we put a link to that website on ours to make it easy for you to find.